The financing needed to meet the global water, sanitation and hygiene targets of the Sustainable Development Goals greatly outweighs the current available funding. The World Bank has estimated an annual need of 114 billion US dollars between now and 2030 to make sure that we reach these targets of the SDGs. And this value, the 114 billion dollars per year, represents roughly 3 times as much as the value that is being currently invested in the sector. So, against this situation, Sanitation and Water for All, we are convening with the support, of course, of the World Bank that is hosting the meeting, a meeting of finance ministers during the spring meetings of the World Bank. And this meeting will be devoted to answering the question, how do we close the financing gap? And obviously there are different answers, complementary answers to this question. On the one hand, it's obvious that we need to make sure that finance ministers are convinced of the value added and the crucial importance to invest in the sector. It is fundamental that finance ministers also understand that they must invest public money, national public money, in making sure that systems are created, that an enabling environment is put in place to making sure that water and sanitation investments can thrive, can be sustainable, can last between now and 2030 and for the future. Another issue that we are going to discuss during the finance ministers meeting in Washington DC in April 2017 is how to make sure that the existing financial flows can be used more effectively. How do we increase, for example, domestic private finance? How do we untap these resources that have not been used up until now by the sector? But how can we assess if the meeting has been successful? Of course, it will be good if we have a large number of ministers, finance ministers attending the meeting. And of course, it will be important to have meaningful discussions and listen to presentations by experts, listen to good practices by governments and other stakeholders. This is obviously an important first step. But the meeting will only be proven successful if the ministers go back home and try to implement, and actually do implement, the ideas and solutions that were discussed during the meeting. And it will be after the meeting that we will actually be able to assess not only the meeting's success, but also the impact that a partnership as SWA has in making sure that the sector, sanitation and water and hygiene sector, is prioritized, and that we manage not only to create the enabling environment, but increase the different types of financing for this crucial sector, which is indispensable if we want to achieve any of the other Sustainable Development Goals, be it Goal 10 on equality, or Goal 5 on gender, or the goal on education, on health, you name it. Thank you so much.